Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing William Shakespeare's Star Wars, The Mandalorian of Nevarro by Doescher. If you're not familiar with the William Shakespeare Star Wars book series, they are absolutely amazing. They're one of my favorite things within Star Wars. Absolutely love them so much. Before this one came out, the Mandalorian version, there were 9, and basically Doescher did one book for each of the movies, the Skywalker series. So episode 1 through 9, every movie has a Shakespeare version of the story. And so to kind of explain what the concept is basically telling the story of those movies, but as a Shakespearean play, so written just like a Shakespearean play, but you're still keeping all the technology. It's not like you're setting in Shakespearean England. You know, it's still in our Star Wars galaxy, so there's still spaceships and lasers and all that type of stuff, but the story is just being told as a Shakespearean play instead of the Star Wars that we know. And so it's a great combo. Like if you love Star Wars, if you love Shakespeare, it's like a match made in heaven. It adds a lot of comedic moments to elements of how they tell the story, and Doscher's great at working in some kind of jokey little periods in the story to kind of lighten the mood and kind of give the story a little bit of a different feeling and a different flow. And also there's some moments that might even hit harder emotionally on the sadness level or the scariness level, just the way they're written as a Shakespearean play. I think one reason I love this series so much is every year when I attend Dragon Con in Atlanta, the Star Wars track there every year does a performance of one of those books as a play, as one of the sessions, and the cast is made up of fans who are just attending Dragon Con. So it's not like it's been a professional group of actors who have been practicing for months ahead of time. It's people that are kind of reading their lines of piece of paper. They have some funny costumes on, and it's always one of the funniest, coolest moments at Dragon Con every year. I really enjoy it. But there hasn't been a new one of these, I think, in over 6 or 7 years. It's been a long time. And Doscher kind of said he was done. He wasn't doing any more of these. So I think everybody just assumed like episode 1 through 9 was it. We weren't getting any more. I think I'd always kind of hoped we'd see some more, maybe go back and do the other movies like Rogue One and Solo. And then you had stuff come along like Andor. Like, I just feel like Andor just would be well suited for a Shakespearean version. But with the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out, I think that might have inspired Star Wars. Like, hey, what's some fun stuff we can do with the Mandalorian? And maybe like, hey, people like this Shakespeare series we had. Maybe Doscher can do a Shakespearean version of the Mandalorian. And that's what this book is. It is a Shakespearean adaptation of the first season of The Mandalorian. Now, it doesn't quite tell all the stories that happened during that season. Like this one, adapted an entire season of television into a Shakespearean play versus one movie. I think it was a little bit more challenging for Doscher when he does the movies. Basically, everything that's in the movie makes the Shakespearean version. For this, he had to cut out a couple of interesting. He kind of focused more on the stories that really were directly about the Mandalorian and his quest with the child. So there's a couple stories that do get cut out. I won't spoil which ones they are, because actually when they get to that point, Doscher comes up with a very clever way to kind of quickly update people on what happened in this, but not involve them in the full Shakespearean play, so I don't want to spoil that. But if you enjoyed the other versions of the William Shakespeare Star Wars, you'll love this. This is just as amazing as those. Such a clever adaptation, some very funny moments, some very moving moments. It was very interesting to see how Doscher translated the dialogue of the child, because at this point we don't know his name is Grogu. And that's one thing I always enjoyed of the Shakespearean stuff, how he would translate the actions of like R2-D2 or Chewie. And so basically, characters that basically don't speak English and we can't understand what they're saying. He's always had a lot of fun of translating those into Shakespearean dialogue, and what he did with the child in this book I thought was very, very clever. I will say, when you read the book, definitely once you finish the storyline, be sure to read the afterward. Doscher always has a thing that kind of explains the Shakespearean adaptation and some things he did with certain characters to honor the Shakespearean tradition. And sometimes you'll catch some of that stuff. Other times you go like, oh, I didn't even catch that Shakespearean reference or that Shakespearean style that he was echoing for this certain character. And it makes you go back and reread a certain section. But I really love this. And actually, one thing I think this was very useful for is basically it's almost like you're rewatching season 1 of The Mandalorian. So it's a very quick recap to kind of get you back into the mindset of everything that's going on in The Mandalorian. It definitely has me hopeful that we'll get some adaptations of season 2 and season 3, and hopefully also of The Mandalorian Grogu. I'd love to see some more Shakespearean adaptations of everything involved in The Mandalorians. And hopefully these books will do great, because then I would love to see, like I mentioned earlier, like Rogue One, and then adaptation of season 1 and 2 of Andor would be amazing. Solo would be amazing, and a lot of the other series would be really cool. But specifically, I think after The Mandalorian gets some Shakespearean treatment, I would love to see Rogue One and Andor get some Shakespearean treatment. So I highly recommend this. Like I said, if you've read the previous William Shakespeare Star Wars, you'll love this. If you like Shakespeare's and Star Wars, but you've never read any of these adaptations, you need to fix that, and this would be a good one to start with. Highly recommend it. Great combo of Star Wars and Shakespeare, something I think all nerds can enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll have a link up here, another video I've done about the just William Shakespeare Star series in general for the first 9 versions that came out. I hope you'll check that out. If you have yet, please like this video. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.